So yesterday evening, we talked about what is Tantra and what is this Shakti, what is this primordial force that comes into and brings into life the action. And today we'll explore a little bit more deeper about this primordial cosmic energy that impels her way through all of us. She's seen as the female aspect of the unmanifest Parabrahman. So how do we come to know about this dynamic force within us and in all that is? There is one tradition that is Sri Vidya, and I'm sure there are many traditions and many different practices to know. Today we'll just take one such practice of Sri Vidya that is devoted to the practice of the Devi, one of the many manifestations, represented by a mystical design. We all know the thing of the sacred geometry, and that is what is also here. So how does this practice of Sri Vidya facilitate the awakening of consciousness? So I'm going to invite Kishori Radhakrishnan, who was here yesterday, to the dais. Yes, please. And along with her is Ramesan Lakhsman, who will offer this perspectives session moderated by Luca from Auroville. Ramesh is from Kalarigram, if I got that right. Ramesh? Yeah. And he does a lot of this. And we also have Amrit, who will speak on Sri Vidya towards the end in relationship to Sri Aurobindo's yoga, Auroville, and the Matrimandir. So it's about an hour. We will allow the speakers to present their perspectives, and then Amrit will summarize it, giving his perspective, and then we'll open to question and answer. Yeah? Thank you so much.
Welcome everybody this morning, and this section already described by Sudha. So we welcome in particular our member, as she described, Kishori ji, Lakhsman ji, and our old Aurovillian Amrit. Let me present them a little bit. I will know if everybody know that Kishori Radhakrishnan is actually not new in the Sri Aurobindo school. Her father was Nilakanta Joshi, known as Pandiji, one of the main priests of the Rameshwaran temple, that got in touch with Mother from the early time and got a lot of in collaboration with Mother. He had a whole role, meditate, did a lot of work together with Mother, Sri Aurobindo Myar. Now, it will be interesting, I also will invite you to recollect that Kishori can recollect for us when she, as a child, was brought by the father and spent a lot of time, nothing else than on the laps of Mother, and how much she still has in her heart Mother, and Mother like her. Sometimes, you know, some heartfelt things are always nice to hear. Lakhsmanji is also in the same lineage of Pandiji, I think 1 or 2 generations after. He is the main founder and soul of Kalarigram, master of Kalaripattu, and guru of Srividya, as of course Kishori. Guru Bandhu. We have also Amrit. Amrit is very old in the community, and he has been having, I think, one of the deepest experience in spiritual paths, has contact with a lot of master. Part also had a lot of direct contact with Pandiji, and his name was given by Mother. His acceptance to Auroville was given by Mother, and he's also here to explain and eventually bind up what is the connection between school traditional like Sri Vidya, based equally on Shakti power as Sri Aurobindo Yoga, as Sri Vidya. So we have a traditional Shakti spirit in the tradition, but it is the same in Sri Aurobindo Yoga. It's called a supramental force because it's a special type of Shakti. Now, these two can collaborate and work together. That is the experience of many people in Auroville, particularly Amrit, can deepen up on this. As you know, Sri Aurobindo Yoga, actually we saw also in the last few days, we went through a few topics very important of it, like the samskaric and the aspect of the strange of the mind, the capacity that the mind can to change the reality. We went through very nice talk about the reality and ultimate reality all together. All these components are actually part of the Purna Yoga of Sri Aurobindo. In fact, when we spoke about samskara, it's not true that samskara is not in Sri Aurobindo Yoga. You may know that in Sri Aurobindo Yoga has been given a few techniques, concentration in the heart or in the anya, but one also was given the continuous offering of any action or anything that we do any moment of the day to the divine. Now, what is divine and non-divine is a very long topic. But Sri Aurobindo gave a practice of constant remembrance. I don't know if you know, many mysterious paths rely upon constant remembrance of the divine. Why? Because it's also yoga transformation of consciousness. And how you can only obtain it? Heavy, every second of your life concentrated on your goal. That is, to transform your ego consciousness of birth into the divine new consciousness. And all this, if you study also Sri Vidya, they are all part of a strengthening of the inner being that can allow you to have this not easy endeavor. Now, what we can do now is to simply deepen up now what is Shakti, that is the base of Sri Aurobindo Yoga. You may also know that Aurobindo dedicated much on this. Mother has given in Matrimandir the 4 pillars, are all named as Ma Kali, Ma Shakti, Ma Reshwari, Ma Sarasvati. He put a lot of tradition also in it. And even in Matrimandir, the 3 main gardens that are the expression of mother aspect are, the first 3 are Sat, Chit, Ananda. So Sri Aurobindo kept in the tradition very much in his view. And this view is also very much shared in paths like Sri Vidya. Now, I will give happily now the talk to you to explain a bit more how you see the Shakti in this path and what you can see as connection in Sri Aurobindo Integral Purna Yoga.
Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shakti, you want me to say about Shakti, how it helps us in the yoga also, how it helps us to develop, to evolve.
And enlighten, bring us to
Yes.
raise up the consciousness to awakening.
It's awakening. It's a nice, good questions that because you know, this Shakti Tattva is nothing but the capacity or the power of any, not only human beings, any living things. Just even to move, the Shakti is needed. Shakti means it is not that you say like you think it is a worship or something like that. That will come afterwards. But when this prapancha, this creation comes, at that time the Shakti came. We accept that is the Nirguna Brahma, that is without no name, no color, without color, no odor, nothing. That is Nirguna Brahma. We don't have put any name upon the Nirguna Brahma. We call it as a Parabrahma. Para means it is above all. And it is in all. You don't think that it is above all means it is not in us. But it is in us and it is above us, beyond us also. Not only us, beyond the universe, beyond all the prapancha, this mandala, this universe, everything that Parabrahma is pervades. The Parabrahma is manifests everywhere. But this Parabrahma we cannot see. This is called Avyakta Rupa. Avyakta Rupa means it is invisible. The Parabrahma is invisible. Our Sanatana Dharma says when Parabrahma wants to create something, if the creation comes, means some activities to be done. Without activity, no creation. If you don't want to create anything, means you can sit as a still. So, in his own part, that is the Parabrahma Tattva, that is Sachidananda Tattva, as all of us accept, Sat is the essence, that is the yes, it is being. Everywhere the Sat is there. And the Chit is the, we call it as a acting face of the Parabrahma. It is also one of the, what we call Lakshana of Parabrahma. The Swarupa Lakshana of Parabrahma is Chat, Chit, Ananda. If Sat is mingled with Chit, the Ananda or Ananda comes. The Ananda and Ananda, it's both united. Ananda is complete independent. It is complete everywhere. It is limitless. It is infinity. If you are everywhere, you don't have any indifference with anybody. Because if you say that he is also you, if you say you in him or some other, you won't quarrel with him. Because you think that his body is something. It is temporary. But the Atman is Chit, the Chit Rupam of everywhere. The Chit Rupam, I see all of you like me. I am with you and you are all with me, in me. I see, this is the practice of Sri Vidya. Sri Vidya means we practice the universal Shakti in the Sri Chakra and we do puja. The Sri Chakra itself is making the universal Shakti and also Atma Shakti united in the Sri Vidya. We do the puja for Bindu. Bindu is the union of our Atma Shakti, that is Jiva Atma, and the Parashakti, that is Parabrahma, that is Nirguna Brahma. This Nirguna Brahma and the Jiva Brahma united in the Bindu. Afterwards, when the Parabrahma thinks, oh Bhuyam, I will be so many forms and names, I will be there. It as the Upanishad says. When it likes to do some creation with the Sit Shakti, the Sat Shakti mingle and the creation. First the Avyakta creation, Akasha Rupa. That is, Avyakta means it is nothing, that the word is a little difficult, but Avyakta, it's invisible, not seen. If you want to prepare one art or anything, first you will think in your mind what to be drawing, what to be drawn, and how one outline you will do in your mind. Then you will draw with your pencil. That in your mind, what is the outline? That is Avyakta. That is the Akasha Shakti. It first came in the form of sound. The Tanmatra, the qualification of the Akasha Shakti is the sound. The sound is, the first sound is Om. How the Om came? It is A, U, Ma. A, U, Im. A, for all the living beings, the first sound is A. Even for the baby, A. For the cattle, A. The without A sound, we cannot pronounce anything. A plus U, O. A plus U. The U is the Urja, that is the power to come out. To come out, to make something, that is U. The Urja is the Chaitanya Shakti, the capacity of the Parabrahma to do anything. It can do. It is the Karana Shakti. The who is the karana. Karana, you know, it is the reason for doing the creation. If something is created, means the creator should be there. Without the creator, the creation is not possible. So the creation comes from who? That is the Karna Shakti or Chaitanya Shakti of the Parabrahma, Satchit. When who comes, then that ends. If anything created, then it should be destroyed. But this destruction comes only when the Chaitanya wants to end. In Tamil, there is one nice sloka. உலகம் யாவையும் தான் உளவாக்கலும் நிலை பெறுத்தலும் நீக்கலும் நீங்கிலா அலகிலா விளையாட்டுடையார். It is called the play. That is creating something and destruction of that thing and creation again and destruction again. We don't know how many times we born before that and how many births we are going to have. That nobody knows. This is called the Lalitya or playground. So we call the Shakti as Lalita. This Lalita came from this Lalitya. Lalitya means it is something for the babies. They will play, they will start for one play. And suddenly for some reason, they will destruct everything. Then they will go and play some other thing. So like that, the Parabrahma Shakti wants to create something and the creation is like that. Now the creation is like this universe and we are all the part and parcel of that. We are also nothing but the one of Parabrahma Shakti. That we should not forget that we are something different from that. But what is the difference is our Sharira. You may know that we are having 3 kinds of Sharira. We can also name it as Panchakosha. This Sharira is of the cover or the box in which the Parabrahma itself is hiding.
You are referring to our bodies, subtle and solid.
This body is nothing. It is always perishable. The body is not constant. Body is temporary. You don't think yourself as your body. If I ask you, who are you? Then you begin to tell your biodata. But this biodata is not for you. Your biodata.
We are not the body.
You are not.
Almost Advaita. This is almost Advaita. The body is not the mind, and not the energy.
Advaita is the end of all the humanity, not only humanity, all the world, universe. Advaita is the universe because who knows after all the perished, who will be there, who will be remaining. Some says that is Shunya, but in some cause, the Sri Vidya does not accept the Shunya. Because if it is Shunya means there is nothing. If there is nothing means, how can you say there is nothing? That seer also must be there. Without seeing, you cannot see that Shunya. So the Shunya means the conscious is there. To say that is Shunya. So, the consciousness is the ultimate remaining. So we follow that Sri Vidya as a cosmetic energy or cosmos energy. It divides in 5 kinds. But first, this cosmos Chaitanya divided into 3 parts. Sattva, Rajo and Tama. Sattva means pure and purest particle. That is Avyakta. Rajo is some kind of mixture of tamas and sattva. That is called Rajo. And Tama is not pure sattva. not pure Raja. It is something watching, and if anything happened against the universe, it will stop that game. Like the babies, if the game is go against the baby's wish, then it will stop the game. Just like that, our Chaitanya also watches. If something goes again beyond her control, means suddenly it put to an end to that. So, this is the game of Chaitanya, and this is what we put the name Saraswati, Mahasaraswati, Mahalakshmi, and Mahakali. These three gunas, the three gunas came first. These are all Avyakta Rupa. In the Triguna, again it divides into two forms, that is male and female form. So the Shakti came. Each and every Triguna divides into two. This is the first Bindu is the Parabrahma. The Triguna is the nearest triangle of the Sriyandra. Then the Shatkona comes. This is the each and every part of Sattva, Raja and Tamoguna divided into two. That is 6 triangle comes. That is the 6th triangle. After that, inner Trikona. So, each and every part in our Sriyandra is related with us and also with the universe. This universe is Prapancha, and we are all that Jiva Vyakta. This is singular.
What you are describing as that the Shakti is not a one thing, but is a multifaceted, and each one has a name, and eventually even a yantra, and eventually even a mantra. So the Shakti, according to tradition, there are, I think, 64 yogini, I don't know, a number of them.
Yes, they are all the devotees of the Shakti.
And now you are describing as the Sri Yantra, with the position from the Bindu to the first Trikona and all the different. So what you are telling us is the Shakti is not start from non-dual, but is actually the expression of duality.
It's
in a way.
It's Shakti, it's a quality. Duality. Duality means you say that we call the Shakti as a feminine gender, in the feminine gender.
This would be interesting. Why we call the Shakti feminine and a transcendental masculine?
No,
point.
That is, this is the Chaitanya Rupam of the Parabrahma. As I told, Sat Guna never do any activities. It is theirs. In the still form, it is there. But the essence, the nectar of the Chaitanya activates upon Shakti to help in the creation. This is the form. So we say that Shakti as in a red color. That is the Shakti Rupam or feminine Rupam. Shiva in the white color. That is the Nirguna Rupam. For Shiva also no Rupa, no name. See, Shiva is called pure Mangala. That Shiva means it is something superior. That's all. No name. But for Shakti there are so many names, so many forms, so many names. Even for the street they say Angalamman, Parameshwari, like that, so many names. In each and everywhere Shakti manifests. But Shiva, there is no form or name for Shiva. Shiva itself is a Nirguna Brahma. That Shiva also I say, the Parabrahma Tattva only, Nirguna Brahma. It is not that Shiva which the dual creation of the Svat Shakti. The Chit Shakti created dually, but for our sake we put name. But for our sake to do worship we put name, but In the creation, in the Shakti, there is nothing.
So what you are saying basically is that, you see, like in Sri Aurobindo Yoga, we have the famous poem, basic of the Sri Aurobindo Yoga, Savitri Satyavan. This female energy is actually, how does it relate to the transcendental, is developing or explaining or expressing the male Bindu aspect. That's what you are saying. And through this particular practice of Srividya, the aim is to reach the Brahman consciousness.
Yes.
And through the external worship, on which you will give a demonstration and understand this evening, hopefully, that's how you reach realization in this particular path, very parallel to Aurobindo path.
Can I just intervene? It's quite in-depth philosophy. What we would love to know, given the context, is the how. What has been your experience of working with the Shakti, the Yantra, and how do we, as initiates into this, work with it? And you also invite Ramesh, who's been a practitioner. How do we bring that? The reason why I'm trying to bring it into the practice is because it's a time bound. We also have him.
Yes.
So I'm sorry to intervene, but if we can bring the practice into it, and what has been your experience, and as a cosmic consciousness to work on that, and then invite Ramesh's thoughts as well.
The timekeeper here has got triggered.
It is that Shakti is my mother. So to say anybody to explain about your mother means one day and one birth is not enough to explain me about Shakti. Because I born with Shakti, I brought up with Shakti, I will be with Shakti at the end also. Because the Shakti only gave birth to me and Shakti only brought me up. And Shakti is with me always. I feel that Shakti is my Guruji. My Guruji is always with me. And I know him, I experience him in all the ways. One small thing, if you want...
Devotion is an important aspect in this path.
See, the faith is the most important thing in our Shakti Tattva. Because without faith, nothing can be achieved. If you want to worship anything, if you want to do anything, you must have the faith that it will be a favor for me. Otherwise, we won't do anything. But this faith helped me so much in so many ways. But one simple thing I can tell. It's unforgettable for me in my birth. That is, when my son was in USA, he got some fever, or I don't know what kind of that fever was. But the most extreme things he went. That he was in ICU, the doctors see that the USA, we cannot say it's the failure of medicine. But the doctor said, no hope for him. He will be survive only 48 hours. That time, the phone came to me that your son is in critical position in USA hospital. I was so much afraid. We didn't do any mistake, but it may be fat. But I won't accept that. I must be quarreled with my mother. So I went directly to the Chennai. There is one Kalikamba temple is there. There, everything for the severe action. The severity also must be there, no? We should not go for the mild action when we are in so much in the danger. So I went to the severe action. There loudly I prayed like anything. Brutal action I did. Now I accept. Brutal action I did. At that time, what happened? Some miracle. It is nothing nothing with the human thing, or it is the doctor in the form of doctor, the Shakti came. The doctor told, how it is happened, my daughter-in-law is there. She knows that in 48 hours they said, but in 24 hours he opened his eyes and called Amma. Like that. Then that doctor told that her mother should be called. He wants to see her mother. So I was given immediate visa to go to USA. Then I went. Then in between I go for 24 hours. He came discharged and came to home.
Thank you for your recollection,
Nothing, but still I pray for my Guruji and the Shakti and the lesson he taught to me. Still I am obeyed. I never in my mind, I cannot forget.
So devotion for the Guru. We'll be very happy to hear what would you say about Shakti power, what has been your life, and what is this energy that is so much part of your even martial art practice, medicine, and so, and the other tradition.
Namaste, Kishori Radhakrishnan. Saundarya Lahiri is a Shankaracharya text, one stotra. First stotra starting. Shiva Shaktiya Yuktu Yadi Bhavati Shakta Prabhavitu Naje Devam Devo Nagala Kushala Spandidumapi Adastuam Aradhyam Harihara Virijya Adibirabi Pranandum Stodum Va Kada Magrata Punya Prabhavati. How I can, without mother, can worship? Then what the Parabrahma? Parabrahma level is nothing is there. Brahma Satyam Jagat Vidya. Jivo Brahmaiva Nabaraha. But the creation, what is happening, Shiva becomes Shakti. Sa Aikshada Bahusyam Prajayaya. He become multiple. The Srichakra is formed like that. Bindu, Trigona, Vasugona, Dashara Yukma, Manasra, Nagadala, Samyuda Shodasharam, Vrutta Trayamcha, Dharani Sadana Trayamcha, Srichakrameva Muditham Paradevadaya. The subtle energy become dynamic, the explanation of that. The Bindu. Egagina Remade. Self I cannot enjoy. He want become two. He splitted. First spot, first Bindu, splitted two. The creation coming downward triangle. Downward triangle is Shakti, upward triangle is Shiva. The Shakti Tattvam coming like that, one Bindu become two, then Bindu become Trigona. That became Srishti, Sthiti, Samhar. Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra. All kind of the threes. What we feeling in our body, Ida, Pingala, Sushumna. Day, night, the Sandhya, middle time. This is our energy channel working like that. Left side, Ida, moon related. Right side, Pingala, sun related. This is feminine and masculine. And here the difference means what is our understanding is entirely different. Shiva Shakti, male and female, not like that. We are the Ardhanarishara. You made the body with your mother and father side. That we are XY, we saying Shiva and Shakti, yin yang, like that. The energy is channelizing. I am the Guru, my disciple is Shakti. Because the energy coming, they can receive. That qualities we called Shakti. You can receive I am teaching, he can take. That the way we, Tantra is understanding the Shiva Shakti. What I am giving, what he taking, this is a quality related to that. Then the Shiva, the 36 tattvas, they explaining the first energy become earth level. Agasham Shabda Gunam, Vayu Shabda Sparsham, Agni Shabda Sparsha Rubam, Water Shabda Sparsha Ruba Rasa, Prithvi Shabda Sparsha Ruba Rasa Gandha. This is Panchabhutas. The Panchabhutas is forming Panchikarana after Panchabhutas. There is a Manastum, Vyomattum, Marudasi, Marulswaradarasi, Tumabaha, Tum Bhumihi, Tui Parinadayam, Nahi Param. Tumeva Swatmanam, Parinamayudum Vishabhausha, Chidananda Akaram, Shiva Yuvadi, Bhavena Bibrishe. This way the energy is forming. If the earth level is solid and water level is liquid, this way is going samhara, going back like the creation coming like that. Manastam Vyomata like coming one, you can see everything. The going back samhara. Shiva is a moksha karaka or samhara karaka. Because his earth element becoming a liquidity. Solid become liquid. The ratio only changing. The Panchabhutas, not what we see, that not level. This is a different way of how Rishis understanding. This is the form changing, ratio changing. The earth level to liquid level to either level. That's the Sukshma. This going back like that. But what the Kundalini Shakti is, that the sound of Omkar. The splitting sound, this is become Omkar. A, U, Ma, Ardha, then Bindu. That is Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Ishvara, and Sadashiva. This is Panchakritya Parayana. Then this way, this is forming, then it is going back also like that. The Stula level to Sukshma level.
So, Lakhsmanji, how will you express what you're saying now as elevation of consciousness, and how can, anyway, Sri Aurobindo Yoga and so
and
help
this way,
in that sense?
What is happening is Bindu become Trigona. Trigona become 2 triangle downward and 1 triangle upward is a Vasugona. 8 triangles. The first Bindu, the triangle, and this way, then outer and inner 10 triangles, 14 triangles, and 8 petals and 16 petals and Bhubara. This is the Bhubara to 16 and 8 petals that we call Sad. And 14 triangle to triangle that we call Chid. And central point is Bindu is Anandam. Sad, Chid, Anandam. This way, if we will going to Kundalini is arousing, you will reach the Shiva Shakti Aikya Nilaya, the union of Shiva and Shakti. Or Ida and Pingala becoming in Sushumna, you will feel that bliss. The aim of the practice is that the first Bindu and triangle and Ashtagon is formed, that is Bala Yandra. First form of Sri Yandra is Bala. Bala is practicing only for material benefits. Then after there will coming more expansion is full Sri Chakra become Panchadashakshari. Panchadashakshari and 15 letters, Sri Vidya. Sri Vidya is Yatrasti Moksho Najadatra Bhoga, Yatrasti Bhogo Najadatra Moksha. Sri Sundari Sevana Tatparanam Bhogasya Mokshasya Karasya. This practice of Sri Vidya, material benefit also, spiritual benefit also. Then we going to Mahashodashi, there is Atma Vidya. We are not working in the material way. We are full concentrating on where we coming. Mano Buddhi Ahangara Chittani Naham, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. You reach that level, your intensive practice, that is that level of Sri Vidya, you are practicing only liberation. Before of the Bala Mantra or Panchadashakshari Mantra, this is all material and spiritual benefits. And this way, the old mantra, Sri Vidya, Sri Jayantiji also Sri Vidya. What the Vidya, she explained, De Vidya, Para Vidya, Apara Vidya. This is a Para Vidya. This is the moksha sadhana. That's why we, Sri Vidya, we have no name. The respected Vidya. And Sri Andra, no name. Because this is practice going to Upasaganam Karyartham Brahmane Rupa Kalpanam. The practitioners' concentration purpose only we made to the Saguna. Nirguna becomes Saguna, form. You're going to the form to formless. That's why we need the Paramahamsa practice so many things. Then finally his Guru said to cut it Kali. He said, how to possible? The knowledge of soul, you to cut it. Because you are reached the point and you want cut it. Saguna, no form here. Sun is not rising, sun is not setting. This is our creation. So all these are east, west, south, all we creating for our better understanding purpose only. This is all we created for that purpose. Then slow by form to we traveling to formless. This is the aim of the practice of Sri Vidya.
To reach the formless.
Yes.
So we have because we have also limited amount of time. How much time we still have? So we thank you very much, Lakhsman. So we have arrived at the point of how we can elevate and light to enlightenment and self-realization. Now we have Amrit here that been very patiently waiting. Amrit has been somehow having quite a bit of experience. We would like to know share from you how did you manage to somehow coordinate, to harmonize paths like this with your Sri Aurobindo yoga practice and all very old, many years?
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank Kishori Didi and Lakhsman Bhai, and also apologize because my hearing is so bad. It's very difficult for me to participate in any discussion because I might totally misunderstand what they say and appear stupider than I think I really am. But, okay, so I wish to speak a little bit from my perspective as a resident of Auroville. This session is about how to know who the mother is and how to come into contact with her. More than 54 years ago, I was in the Himalayas and I wrote to Mother and I asked her, Mother, I feel your presence and your love, but I don't know who you are. Who are you? And Mother's answer was, one day you will know who I am. And one thing about Mother, she always fulfills her promises. Always. I came to Auroville and I didn't want to be in Auroville at all. In fact, I had no interest in Auroville. I wanted to be in the ashram. And I told them, she sent me here, and then I told her, no, I don't want to be here. And then finally, I wrote to her and I said, look, I want to be in the ashram, but if you think it is better for me to be here, I will stay. Because you said the ashram is for those who want to dedicate their lives to the divine. I want to do that, so I want to be in the ashram, not in Auroville. And she said, no, you can do what you want in Auroville. You can dedicate your life to the divine. I know it. So I stayed reluctantly. Only because Mother said. Now, this session is about knowing the mother. I didn't realize when mother said this, she was actually referring to Sri Vidya. Many years later, I went to Madhav Pandit in the ashram, MP Pandit, who is considered an expert on the Tantra. And I asked him, I would like to know more about Sri Vidya, about the Tantra. And he told me immediately, if you want to learn about Sri Vidya, you must meet Panditji. He is the only one who knows and who can explain to you. And then he told me his own experience with the mother. He said, one day, mother called me and said, you must meet Panditji. So he said, okay, I went to Rameshwaram to meet Panditji because the mother told me to do so. Madhav Pandit did not explain exactly what happened, but he said one thing about this meeting with Panditji. He said, mother prepared the ground, Panditji gave the opening. This seemed to indicate that after his time with the mother, Panditji actually gave him either an experience or a realization, and from that point, Madhav Pandit started to write about the Tantra. So he told me, you must go to Rameshwaram and meet Panditji. So the next day I took a train to Rameshwaram. And I entered the house, and on the house was the signboard Sri Aravinda Nilayam, because the mother had actually helped him to build the house. So when I entered the courtyard and I saw Panditji, immediately he turned to me and started to laugh. So you've come. I was thinking, how did he know that I'm coming? Okay, he sat me down and he said, what do you want? I said, I want to learn about Sri Vidya. Immediately he said, if you want to learn about Sri Vidya, you must do the practice. There is no other way. I will give you the first mantra tomorrow. You come in 3 months, you will get initiation, you start the puja. I had no idea what he was talking about. First of all, I didn't even know what puja was. I had no idea what a mantra was. I had no idea what he was talking about. But that started a journey that lasted for the last 45 years. And that journey was a fulfillment of Mother's promise to know who she is. Because this is what Sri Vidya means, to know who the Mother is and how to contact her. Now, there is something that the Mother wrote via Satprem in a letter. And in this letter, she stated, with Panditji's help, I have done in 3 months what otherwise would have taken me 10 years of sadhana. So what is this transmission that Panditji gave to the mother in 3 months? This is the secret of Sri Vidya. And it's a line of knowledge that is very ancient, that comes from the Vedas. the Vedas had two lines of development. The first line was the exoteric line of the Smritis that resulted in the development of present Hindu society with the caste system, with the 4 ashramas, with the rules and regulations that govern Hindu society. But there was another line of development. It was the esoteric line of the Vedas, which resulted in the Tantras, and of which Sri Vidya is the most comprehensive formulation of this knowledge that comes from the Vedas. This knowledge is embodied in the practices of the Sri Vidya school. Now, these practices, or I would say Sri Vidya, in the spiritual tradition of India, is a form of what is called in India non-dualistic Advaita. Now, non-dualistic Advaita has two streams. One is represented by Ramana Maharishi of Tiruvannamalai. I think many of you have heard of him. The other development of non-dualistic Advaita is called Tantric Advaita, of which Sri Vidya is one of the expressions. Now, there is a slight difference, even though both have a great truth, but there's a slight difference in its expression in yoga and in spirituality. Ramana's school of non-dualistic, absolute non-dualistic Advaita is the same school as you have in North India, of the Mukti schools of liberation. These schools of Advaita emphasize the first two propositions of the Advaita. The first is that there is only one reality, and that reality is the Supreme Brahman, the Self. It is only that exists, nothing else. The second proposition is all else is Maya, illusion. It is not real. What is not real, what is not permanent, is not real. This is the world that we live in, the world of unreality. So this first school of Advaita takes this aspect. In this aspect, if the world is Maya, illusion, it has no reality, and therefore evolution and transformation do not exist. They're not important. But the Tantric Advaita schools, you see, the first school of Advaita, it takes Brahmeva Kevalam. There is only the Supreme Brahman, all else is Maya. But the Tantric Advaita takes the third proposition, Brahmeva Kevalam Sarvam. That means all is the Supreme Brahman, including the world in which we live. This enables evolution and transformation. This is the difference. And this is the line of development that Sri Aurobindo's yoga belongs to. And I would say one thing, even though Buddhism, for example, has had the reputation of being otherworldly, but this is not true. This is not what Mother said. Mother said, the Buddha is in the line of our yoga. Buddha knew that transformation was possible, that it was possible to overcome death. He knew that, she said, but he also knew it was not yet time for that, so he did not speak of it. So she said, our yoga is in the same way as that of the Buddha. Only it goes farther into the transformation because the time has come for that. Now, this is the same with the Tantric Advaita. In the Tantric Advaita, not much is said much about transformation. Although one thing I will say, Panditji hinted to me that there was this aspect also. He said there are 3 forms of Tantra. And the highest form of what he calls Siddha Tantra is our school. To liberate ourselves in this world. Now, if you take the practice of the Sri Vidya, this practice involves concentration on the yantra called Sri Yantra or Sri Chakra. What is the Sri Chakra? It is a representation of these 3 propositions of Advaita. In the Sri Yantra, you see, basically in the Tantric Advaita, you have 2 streams of development. One is the Shaiva school. The Shaiva school is that of Kashmir Shaivism. And the modern sort of representative of this development of Kashmir Shaivism was Muktananda. The sister school of Kashmir Shaivism is the Kaula Sampradaya, which is that of Sri Vidya and Panditji. In actuality, they are identical. Only there is a slight difference of emphasis, one on Shiva, one on Shakti. But it is the same. And in the Kashmir Shaivism school, there was a sort of comparison done by a very great philosopher yogi in Sri Aurobindo ashram. His name was Aravinda Basu. He made a comparison of Sri Aurobindo's yoga and Kashmir Shaivism. And his conclusion was that Sri Aurobindo's yoga is almost identical to Kashmir Shaivism, except for the final thing of the transformation. Now, Panditji hinted to me about this. He said there are 3 forms of Tantra, and the highest is Siddha Tantra, of which he said Sri Vidya is a manifestation. But he also hinted there is a higher form. He did not describe it as such, but I had the feeling he was referring to the transformation. He said there is a very high form of Tantra, but because so few people have been able to reach that point, it's no use even to talk about it, because it's too much, it's too high for people. Okay.
We thank you very much, Amrit.
One second. Luca, just one second. Luca, can you just wait a second? So, Amrit, on that occasion when you said it is about transformation, and this is a space of awakening consciousness, could you just give one practice that we could take, one simple practice before we conclude the session?
You see, one thing in the practice of Sri Vidya, particularly in the puja, it's something, in most practices of yoga, you have to follow what are called the niyamas and yamas. That means what you should do and should not do to purify yourself. But in the Sri Vidya, there is no emphasis on the yamas and the niyamas. What it is there is an emphasis on the practice, because the practice itself creates the conditions for this process of yoga to happen spontaneously through the concentration on the Meru, on the yantra of Sri Vidya in the puja. For example, within the puja, there are several processes. For example, one is called Matraka Nyasa. This is the placing of the sounds of the Sanskrit alphabet on your body. As you do this, what happens is your body itself starts to vibrate with these sound forms. There is Matraka Nyasa and there is Mantra Nyasa. That means you put the mantra on your body. And the body starts to absorb these sounds of both the sounds of the Hindu alphabet and the mantra. And in this process of absorption, what happens is there starts to be a process of purification. In other words, this starts to counter the vibrations with which we normally have our samskaras, our bad habits, our ego. Okay, there is a second process in the puja. This is called Bhuta Shuddhi. This is a process that was also followed by Ramalingam Swami, who was also of the Tantric Advaita school. Now, Sri Aurobindo mentions this about Ramalingam Swami, and the mother also. The mother says his yoga is an aspect of the supermental, what he calls Arut Perun Jyoti Karune. That means the vast grace light of compassion. And Sri Aurobindo says there is a yogi in South India who has reached a greater level of transformation of his body than I have up to this point. And Mother says of this Arut Perun Jyoti Karunai, she says this is an aspect of the supermental. Okay, so in the puja, this aspect of Bhuta Shuddhi, now what Bhuta Shuddhi means, purification of the elements, of the 5 elements, fire, air, earth, water, and ether. This purification is connected with the process of transformation. And this is what Ramalingam Swami followed when he transformed his body. Now,
Thank you.
There's another thing about this puja. What it does is, it invokes the presence of the Shakti in all the different levels of consciousness of the Sri Vidya. There are 9 levels. Normally in the Tantra there are 7 chakras, but in the Sri Vidya there are 9. 3, 3, 3. These groups of chakras have to do with aspects of the Kundalini. The first 3 are the normal Kundalini rising from the base of the spine. The second group of 3, the middle group of 3, and the higher group of 3 are actually connected with Sri Aurobindo's yoga. The top group, and this is invoked through the puja. Now, the top 3 group, Sri Aurobindo mentions as the descending force. Panditji described this to me as one of the forms of Kundalini. He says there is the Kundalini above the head that descends through the body. And this is the process in Sri Aurobindo's yoga. The second Kundalini is in the heart. The 2 Kundalini, one rises, the other descends. They meet in the heart and they rise and descend. Now, this is what the Matrimandir represents. In the Matrimandir, you have 3 rings at the top, in the center, and at the bottom. These are the 3 Mula Kundalinis. And in the Matrimandir, the 2 Kundalinis that are represented by Sri Aurobindo's yoga are not just symbolically. Actually, the Matrimandir has the power to awaken these Kundalinis within you if you concentrate and focus properly. You have the light coming through the upper ring. This light descends and hits the crystal. And then from that, the light descends into the bottom. The Matrimandir is a representation of the energy centers in the human body. At the top of the head, in the heart, and at the base of the spine, and it even goes down to the bottom, at the pond at the bottom. Now, the Matrimandir can awaken these 2 Kundalinis, one from the top of the head and one in the heart. This is why the mother wanted it in Auroville, because the Matrimandir is a concentration of that power. And what I have learned through the Sri Chakra Puja is that this power of the mother you can invoke on all the different levels of your consciousness. And this is exactly what is done in the sadhana of Sri Vidya. You go through all the different chakras.
So, Amrit,
And the presence is invoked.
So,
now, I will say one. Oh, sorry.
No. This is really very fascinating. We're running out of time. But I thank you so much, Kishori Ma, Rameshi, and Amrit.
Very hard to stop you to hear our beautiful teaching, everybody. It was very hard to stop you. I would say it's a pity, but
Thanks, Luca, for the session.
there is democracy here.
I think I just want to end in the way, thank you, Amrit, for all 3 of you to give us the context of what the diagram is and the space and the meaning of it. And for Amrit to bring in the integration and the relationship of it. I think today I'm able to appreciate better the concept of Auroville, Matrimandir, and the practice. And I think one of the takeaways, or I wouldn't like to say because somebody said it's not a takeaway, but what is something that I'm staying with and being present to is the practice, the purification, the concentration, and then allow the mother to reveal in the relationship you have with her. And it's an ongoing process. So thank you for bringing in the richness of your years of life and experience, and for being the model that this is a conscious, ongoing process. So really, really, thank you from the bottom of the heart. And I'm hoping that we can have this conversation and we can continue it in another context, another time, another space, and to learn more about it and to deep dive in it. So thank you so much, and really grateful.